Highly intelligent, fearless. When you envision the ultimate canine weapon, your mind instantly goes to one specific silhouette: the German Shepherd. For over a century, this remarkable animal has been the undisputed gold standard for global police forces, military black ops, search and rescue teams, and elite personal protection. Created in 1899 by a German cavalry officer named Max von Stephanitz, the German Shepherd was genetically engineered to be the perfect working machine. Weighing between 70 and 90 pounds, armed with a bite force of 238 pounds per square inch, and possessing a tactical intelligence that rivals a human toddler, the German Shepherd is an apex predator in the modern urban world. If we look at the biomechanics, the German Shepherd has what scientists call a lupoid skull, a wolf-like elongated snout. This geometry gives them lightning-fast snapping capabilities and a full-mouth bite, allowing them to grip the limbs of a fleeing suspect and hold on with terrifying tenacity. They are bred to take down full-grown, aggressive humans. In a one-on-one scenario with an average dog, the German Shepherd dominates through speed, stamina, and highly trainable aggression. But the German Shepherd is not the undisputed king of the canine world. Hidden in the remote freezing mountains of Asia, guarding livestock in the brutal African savannas, and bred directly from the bloodlines of ancient Roman gladiators, there are titans, behemoths of bone, muscle, and primitive fury that make the German Shepherd look entirely ordinary. Today, we are taking a deep, scientific, historical, and biomechanical dive into the 10 dog breeds that possess the sheer mass, devastating bite force, and primal genetics to absolutely defeat a German Shepherd in a physical clash. Before we dive into the list, it is crucial to state that we have immense respect for the German Shepherd. Furthermore, dogfighting is a felony. It is cruel and it is completely unethical. This analysis is a strictly hypothetical, scientific comparison of canine physics, historical breeding purposes, and physical anatomy. We are analyzing what would happen if the unstoppable force met an immovable object. Strap in, because by the time we reach number 1, you will be looking at a dog that possesses enough kinetic energy to snap a wolf's femur like a dry twig. Let's begin.
Number 10, the Rottweiler, the butcher's powerhouse. At number 10, we have a breed that shares the German Shepherd's homeland, but brings a completely different, brutally effective arsenal to the battlefield, the Rottweiler. While the German Shepherd was bred in the late 19th century for herding and agility, the Rottweiler's origins are ancient. Their ancestors marched across the treacherous Alps alongside the Roman legions. Their job was to drive massive herds of aggressive cattle and to guard the soldiers' camps from wild wolves, bears, and highwaymen. They eventually settled in the German town of Rottweil, where they became known as the Rottweiler butcher's dog. To understand why a Rottweiler would overpower a German Shepherd, you have to look at the structural geometry of its skull. The German Shepherd has that narrow, slashing snout, but the Rottweiler possesses a molosser skull type, a broad, blocky, mastiff-like head. This wider skull anchors significantly larger masseter jaw muscles, granting the Rottweiler a devastating bite force of 328 pounds per square inch. That is nearly 100 pounds of pressure more than the Shepherd. In a hypothetical clash, the German Shepherd would undoubtedly be faster. It would attempt to dance around the Rottweiler using hit-and-run tactics. But the moment the Rottweiler gets a grip, the physics of the fight change entirely. Weighing up to 130 pounds, the Rottweiler is a biological tank. Its thick, muscular neck and barrel chest allow it to absorb impact without losing balance. The Rottweiler's fighting style relies on forward momentum and sheer physical density. It would simply bulldoze the Shepherd to the ground, pinning it under 130 pounds of solid muscle.
Number 9, the Dogo Argentino, the white ghost of the Pampas. We move from the historic streets of Germany to the wild, unforgiving terrain of South America. At number 9, we have a dog that wasn't just bred to guard property, it was genetically engineered to hunt apex predators. Meet the Dogo Argentino. In the 1920s, a brilliant Argentine doctor named Antonio Norris Martinez set out to create the ultimate hunting machine. He started with the now extinct Cordoba fighting dog, a breed so aggressively hardwired it would literally fight to the death rather than mate. Martinez carefully diluted this blind rage by crossbreeding it with 9 other dogs. He added the Great Dane for size, the Boxer for agility, the Spanish Mastiff for raw power, and the Bull Terrier for absolute fearlessness. The result was a 100-pound solid white gladiator. Why would the Dogo Argentino defeat a German Shepherd? 2 words: pain tolerance. The Dogo Argentino is routinely used by hunters in packs to track and hold wild boar and pumas. Think about the reality of that job. A German Shepherd is trained to take down a 180-pound human who might have a stick or a padded sleeve. A Dogo Argentino is bred to sprint miles through thick jungle, leap headfirst at a 300-pound wild boar armed with razor-sharp tusks, latch onto its face and hold it down until the hunter arrives. If a German Shepherd bites a Dogo Argentino, the Dogo's brain barely registers the pain. Their skin is incredibly thick, lacking the sensitive nerve endings found in herding breeds, and their adrenaline response is geared towards surviving encounters with wild beasts. The Dogo matches the Shepherd in speed, but completely outclasses it in explosive power, jaw strength, and a terrifying, unwavering refusal to quit. Number 8, the Cane Corso, the Roman war machine. Number 8 takes us back 2,000 years to the bloody arenas of the Roman Empire. When the Romans marched to war, they didn't just bring swords, spears, and shields. They brought Canis pugnax, the war dogs of antiquity. Today, the direct, unadulterated descendant of those ancient beasts walks among us, the Cane Corso. Weighing between 110 and 120 pounds, the Cane Corso possesses a bite force of 700 pounds per square inch. Let's stop and look at that statistic. The German Shepherd's bite is 238 psi. A fully grown African lion's bite force is around 650 psi. The Cane Corso literally bites harder than the king of the jungle. Translating from Latin, the name Cane Corso roughly means guardian dog or bodyguard. They belong to the Mastiff family, but unlike the English Mastiff, which is a slow, lumbering giant, the Corso is a high-performance, fast-twitch muscle athlete. They are incredibly agile, capable of immense, explosive bursts of speed. In a confrontation with a German Shepherd, the Shepherd's usual tactical playbook is rendered totally useless. The German Shepherd uses stamina and circling to wear down an opponent, but the Cane Corso is too fast to be outmaneuvered and far too strong to be taken down by a dog 30 pounds lighter than itself. If the Corso clamps down with that 700 psi bite, breaking bones instantly, the fight is over in seconds. It is the canine equivalent of a mixed martial arts heavyweight champion fighting a welterweight. The physics of the matchup simply do not allow the Shepherd to survive the initial impact. Number 7. The Presa Canario, the Canary Island Colossus. Number 7 is a breed that is outright banned in several countries across the globe, including Australia and New Zealand. It is a dog of such intense territorial instincts, extreme suspicion of strangers, and raw, unadulterated power that it is only recommended for the most elite, experienced handlers. We are talking about the Perro de Presa Canario. Originating from the Canary Islands off the coast of northwestern Africa, the Presa Canario was specifically bred to be a catch dog. Their historical purpose was to control unruly, half-wild cattle and to violently tear apart packs of feral dogs that threatened the local livestock. Look closely at the anatomy of the Presa. It features a broad, square head that is nearly as wide as it is long. It tips the scales at up to 140 pounds of solid, unyielding muscle. But what makes the Presa an absolute nightmare for a German Shepherd isn't just its size, it's its center of gravity. The Presa Canario is built like a cinder block. They are relatively low to the ground with exceptionally wide chests, thick shoulders, and a surprisingly flexible spine. If a German Shepherd attempts to tackle, body check, or push a Presa, it would be like a sports car trying to ram a bulldozer. Furthermore, the Presa has a highly developed prey drive combined with a notoriously short fuse. While the German Shepherd fights with calculated, trained precision, looking for openings, the Presa Canario fights with the explosive, blind fury of a wild animal. It would sweep the Shepherd's legs, overpower it through sheer brute force, and pin it to the earth with unyielding aggression. Number 6. The Boerboel, the African lion dog. As we cross the halfway mark of our list, the dogs stop being just large. They enter the realm of true giants. At number 6, we travel to the harsh, unforgiving landscapes of South Africa to meet a dog that had to survive the deadliest continent on Earth, the Boerboel. The word Boerboel translates from Dutch to farmer's dog, but do not let that quaint, simple name fool you. During the Great Trek in the 1800s, when Dutch and British settlers moved deep into the South African interior, they brought their largest mastiffs and bulldogs with them. These European dogs bred with indigenous, hardened African domestic dogs to create an ultimate survivor, a dog that had to protect isolated diamond mines and homesteads from leopards, spotted hyenas, vicious baboon troops, and lions. A German Shepherd is a magnificent protector against human intruders, but a human does not have the strength, speed, or razor-sharp claws of a leopard. The Boerboel was biologically engineered to withstand the swipe of a big cat. Weighing up to 200 pounds, a male Boerboel is more than double the weight of an average German Shepherd. In a hypothetical clash, the sheer, overwhelming mass of the Boerboel makes this an incredibly unfair fight. The Boerboel's neck is incredibly thick, heavily muscled, and covered in loose, tough skin. If a German Shepherd reverts to its canine instinct and tries to bite the throat, it will merely get a mouthful of thick, elastic skin, doing absolutely zero damage to the vital arteries underneath. Meanwhile, the Boerboel, with its massive, trap-like jaws, would crush the Shepherd's skeletal defenses in a matter of moments. At number 5, we have a dog that doesn't need agility. It doesn't need lightning-fast reflexes. It doesn't even need intense aggression. It wins through the absolute, undeniable, unchangeable laws of physics, the English Mastiff. Let's get straight to the numbers, because the numbers are simply mind-boggling. An adult male English Mastiff routinely weighs over 200 pounds. To put that into perspective, an English Mastiff named Zorba holds the Guinness World Record for the heaviest dog in history, weighing in at an astonishing, gravity-defying 343 pounds. He was over 8 feet long from nose to tail. Historically, these dogs were not the couch potatoes we know today. They were used by the ancient British tribes to fight off Roman invaders. Julius Caesar himself was so impressed by their ferocity that he brought them back to Rome to fight bears, bulls, and gladiators in the horrific blood sports of the Colosseum. Today, they are known as gentle giants, but make no mistake, if properly provoked, their ancient, dormant instincts awaken. So how exactly does a German Shepherd defeat a dog that weighs 3 times as much as it does? The short, brutal answer is, it doesn't. In combat sports, weight classes exist for a reason. The German Shepherd could bite, scratch, slash, and maneuver all at once, but the English Mastiff's immense pain threshold, sheer bulk, and heavy bone density act as an impenetrable armor. If the Mastiff decides it is time to end the fight, all it has to do is throw its weight around. A single focused body slam from a 220-pound Mastiff would shatter the ribs of a German Shepherd. The Mastiff doesn't even need to use its massive 552 psi bite force. It could quite literally crush the life out of the Shepherd just by laying on top of it. Number 4. The Tibetan Mastiff, the Himalayan demon. Number 4 brings us to the roof of the world, the Himalayan mountains. Here, the air is thin, the sub-zero temperatures are deadly, and the predators are absolutely ruthless. To survive in this harsh extremity, humanity needed a monster of their own. They created the Tibetan Mastiff. When the legendary explorer Marco Polo first encountered these dogs in the 13th century, he described them as being tall as a donkey with a voice like a lion. Looking at a Tibetan Mastiff today is like looking at a myth come to life. They possess a thick, dense, double-layered coat and a massive mane of hair around their neck and shoulders. And that mane isn't just to survive the freezing winters, it is highly evolved biological armor. For thousands of years, Tibetan monks and nomadic herders used these dogs to guard their isolated flocks and sacred temples against snow leopards, Himalayan bears, and packs of starving Tibetan wolves. Because they worked miles away from their human masters, they are highly independent, incredibly stubborn, and ferociously territorial. They do not wait for commands. If a German Shepherd were to engage a Tibetan Mastiff, it would immediately run into a biological wall. That massive mane makes it virtually impossible for an attacking dog to find the jugular, the throat, or the spine. A German Shepherd's canine teeth are roughly 1.5 inches long. They would simply sink into 4 or 5 inches of thick, matted hair and dense undercoat, doing zero damage to the flesh below. Once the Shepherd realizes its bites are totally ineffective, the Tibetan Mastiff retaliates. Weighing up to 150 pounds, with massive, heavy paws and jaws designed to crush the spine of a wolf, the Tibetan Mastiff would overpower the Shepherd with a terrifying, primal savagery. Modern working dogs are trained to apprehend. The Tibetan Mastiff is genetically hardwired to eradicate. Number 3. The Alabai, the 5,000-year-old wolf crusher. We have now entered the top 3, the elite of the elite. These last 3 dogs are not pets. They are not suburban companions. These are ancient, primitive guardians that have remained virtually unchanged by human hands for over 5,000 years. At number 3, we have the Central Asian Shepherd, also known in its native lands as the Alabai. The Alabai is widely considered the oldest known surviving dog breed on planet Earth. While the German Shepherd was carefully engineered in a controlled environment by Max von Stephanitz, the Alabai was forged by the cruel, merciless hand of Mother Nature. Historically, nomadic shepherds did not feed these dogs. They were expected to scavenge, hunt marmots, or fight off predators for scraps. Only the strongest, most vicious, most resilient dogs survived the freezing winters and the relentless attacks from massive wolf packs. In countries like Turkmenistan, the Alabai is a revered national treasure. They are so respected that the president of Turkmenistan actually erected a massive 50-foot golden statue of an Alabai in the center of the capital city.
Why does the Alabai effortlessly destroy the German Shepherd? It comes down to combat hardwiring. A German Shepherd is fundamentally a herding dog that was repurposed for police work. It has a high prey drive, meaning it likes to chase things that run. The Alabai is a livestock guardian dog. It operates purely on defense drive. Its entire DNA is programmed to look at large canine predators and systematically dismantle them. Weighing up to 170 pounds, the Alabai fights differently than almost any other dog on Earth. They don't just bite, they wrestle. When engaged in combat, an Alabai will stand on its hind legs and use its massive front paws to batter its opponent's neck and shoulders, knocking them completely off balance before going in for the lethal throat bite. A German Shepherd's police training is totally useless against a dog that fights like a grizzly bear. The Alabai would strip the Shepherd of its agility, pin it to the earth under its massive chest, and end the fight with ancient, brutal efficiency. Number 2. The Caucasian Shepherd, also known in Eastern Europe as the Caucasian of Charka, or simply the Russian bear dog. If there's one dog on this list that strikes genuine visceral fear into the hearts of professional dog trainers and decoy handlers, it is the Caucasian Shepherd. During the height of the Cold War, the Soviet Union's Red Star Kennel program used these massive beasts to guard the perimeter of the Berlin Wall. They were also famously used to guard the brutal freezing gulags in the wastelands of Siberia. They were chosen because they possess an aggression level that borders on the psychopathic when their territory is breached. This dog was originally bred in the rugged Caucasus Mountains. Its job was to hunt down and kill wolves and to fight off adult bears that tried to steal sheep. This dog was literally bred to fight bears. A German Shepherd is a highly intelligent, trainable, and obedient animal that constantly looks to its handler for commands and permission to engage. The Caucasian Shepherd is the exact opposite. It does not wait for commands. When it perceives a threat, it acts entirely on its own accord, and its response is a level of explosive, uncontrollable violence that is hard for the average dog owner to even comprehend. If a German Shepherd were to bravely challenge a Caucasian of Charka, it would be a tragic, devastating mismatch. The Caucasian's double coat is so incredibly thick that modern police canine bite suits are actually modeled after it to prevent penetration. The German Shepherd's teeth would do absolutely nothing. The Ovcharka, weighing over 170 pounds and standing taller than a human when on its hind legs, would hit the Shepherd like a runaway freight train. With a crushing bite force estimated at over 700 psi, the Caucasian Shepherd wouldn't just defeat the German Shepherd, it would likely cause fatal, unrecoverable injuries in a matter of seconds. Number 1. The Kangal, the undisputed king of combat. And finally, Number 1. We have reached the absolute apex, the undisputed pinnacle of canine combat power. If you want to defeat a German Shepherd, you don't just need massive size. You need lightning agility. You need endless lung-burning stamina. And above all, you need the most devastating, bone-shattering weapon in the domestic animal kingdom. Meet the Kangal, the ancient pride of Turkey. The Kangal possesses a bite force of 743 pounds per square inch. Let that sink in. The Kangal possesses the highest recorded bite force of any domestic dog on the planet. Its jaws are a biological hydraulic press. Its bite is so profoundly powerful, it can shatter the femur of an adult timber wolf with a single, effortless snap. But what makes the Kangal the ultimate, undisputed victor over the German Shepherd isn't just its bite force, it is its unparalleled athleticism. Unlike the Mastiffs, the Boerboels, or the Ovcharkas, which are heavy and relatively slow to turn, the Kangal is built like an elite heavyweight boxer. Weighing around 140 pounds of pure, lean muscle, they can sprint at blistering speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. In fact, the Kangal is so incredibly effective at fighting off predators that conservationists in Namibia, Africa, actively import Kangals to protect local livestock from cheetahs and African lions, successfully reducing the shooting of wild cheetahs by farmers. Against a German Shepherd, the Kangal holds literally every single biological, physical, and tactical advantage. It is vastly faster than the Shepherd. It is 50 pounds heavier than the Shepherd. It has a bite force that is more than 3 times as powerful. The Kangal fights with a famous tactical maneuver. It uses a high-speed shoulder check to knock wolves off balance while running at full speed before delivering a lethal bite to the neck. The German Shepherd is a hero, a legendary dog that has saved countless human lives. But the Kangal is a god among mortals, and in a physical head-to-head confrontation, the Kangal is the undisputed, unrivaled king of the canine world. The verdict: why does the German Shepherd still reign supreme? Let's bring it back to reality. After hearing about these 10 terrifying titans, you might be asking yourself, if these dogs are so big and powerful, why do police and military forces all over the world still use the German Shepherd? The answer is control. The German Shepherd doesn't need to fight bears, and it doesn't need to crush the skulls of wolves. It possesses something far more valuable to human society: an off switch. The German Shepherd is highly eager to please. It can bite a suspect 1 minute and be petted by a schoolchild the next. The 10 titans we discussed today, the Kangals, the Caucasians, the Presas, they are ancient relics of a harsher, bloodier world. They are highly independent, extremely difficult to train, and carry massive liability risks in modern suburban environments. They do not want to fetch tennis balls. They want to patrol perimeters and destroy threats. They may possess the sheer physical power, the bite force, and the mass to easily defeat the German Shepherd in a hypothetical gladiator match. But in our modern world, in our cities, and in our homes, the German Shepherd's unmatched intelligence, loyalty, and versatility will always keep it on the throne as the ultimate canine companion. Which of these massive titans surprised you the most? Do you think the German Shepherd's elite intelligence and tactical training could somehow outsmart these giant beasts? Let us know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the canine world, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a documentary. Until next time, respect the dog, respect the power, and stay safe.